Yeah, I know. So I'll be giving the whole thing in my NPR voice, which is a lot softer. Hey, everybody, I'm Ben. First, I'd like to give a big thanks to all the organizers of Empire Node. It's been a really rad day, and last night was rad. So thanks y'all very much for that. So yeah. All right, the volume was changed a little bit, so I can talk a little more normal. All right, hey, I'm Ben. This is my Walter White profile picture. I work over at Walmart with a whole bunch of folks. I'm pretty much novice exploiter everywhere except on my 3DS. And so if y'all have one, that's my friend code. And I'm Ryoga on the Wii U network. So those are the important identifiers. So I work for Walmart, and we've been, like, over the past while, we've created an open source framework called Hapi, and quite often throughout this talk, I'm going to say we. Understand that quite often when I say we in referring to the team that created Hapi, what I really mean is Aaron Hammer, who's the guy that's in charge of our team. Also, I do. Those other slides. I do lots and lots of drawings. So there's a few of them scattered throughout here. Some of them didn't make the cut, but I'll send them out later. If there's any drawings where you don't know who they are, let me know and I'll let you know. Anyway, so what I'm going to talk about is what we're doing next with Hapi, by leading into it with a little bit of history and understanding why we're doing it. Back in 2011, Aaron Hammer was working with Yahoo. He left there, brought over with him a small framework called SLED over to Walmart Labs, and made a small team of a couple folks that were already working there, a couple folks that came in, and I was one of that group, and started to create a new web framework based on this one that he had created so that we could redo all the mobile services at Walmart. Everything went really good. We had a lot of fun. We built a lot of stuff, and then on last year in April, it took over a year, like 18 months to get our first release candidate out. We were worried about a whole bunch of stuff with, we were doing a whole bunch of stuff at Walmart at the same time too, like getting all this stuff for getting deploys ready in a huge giant corporation for huge loads and loads of systems takes a long time. So eventually we got out our framework, and version 1 of Hapi was released on the 13th of April of last year. We had been using it in production, but that's when it came out, and this was a huge event for us. For some of us, it was our first open source project. For others, it was the first time they had worked in Node. For all of us, it was something that we really cared about, and we put a lot of time into. So this first version is the main thing that we put out that handled all of our Black Friday traffic the first time that we had Node out, and it did beautifully. It did really, really well. It was a lot of fun. It was actually, I had less problems at Walmart on Black Friday than a lot of other deploys with much, much smaller companies on low traffic days. Anyway, like this whole time, we're like, holy crap, this is rad. But our mode of development at this time was, a lot of us had started using Express, and we'd used some other libraries also. But when we're creating Hapi right now, instead of like, anytime there's a new feature, we're like, we're going to jam that sucker into core. We're going to, everything. This ball started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we've got this gigantic library now. And what that meant was that, in addition, like we had seen some successes at Walmart, and we were talking about it quite a bit. And what that meant was that people were now starting to use this library, but most folks, I don't think anybody were using all of the features that were available in Hapi. So it meant that there was stuff in there that that not everybody would utilize. And we'll we'll get to that in a few minutes. So that this leads up to our second release, Hapi 2.0. It's like roughly 8 months after the first one. We've got Hapi 2.0 ready. It was rad. There was a rad company threw a party for the 2.0 release. We were super excited about that. Aaron spoke there. Stuff was going good, but there's still this giant monolithic thing, and we decided it was about time to change that up a little bit. So instead of having this giant thing, we decided to blow it up into loads of different modules, right? So since we've released version 2, things have picked up speed a little bit. Remember, between version 1 and version 2, it's about 8 months. And over this year, there's been a couple major version releases. But what's been happening is that as we've been taking the stuff out, I picked this up to drink some, I promise. As we've been splitting stuff out, stuff that was originally in the core API that would belong to something that really should be brought in via configuration or a separate npm install, changes the API. So that obviously ups the major version number. So we've been adding loads of these things. So we've gone from like a handful of modules originally that represented Hapi to close to 80 modules that represent Hapi, different portions of functionality that are different parts of Hapi core have been removed and placed into their own modules, and even parts of Hapi that will be shipped with every npm install of Hapi, we've been splitting those out into separate modules also. So, like I said before, we've been seeing loads of success and everything with it, but Hapi's running now at Walmart all over the place, and so what's next? A couple weeks ago, there was a rad blog post by Aaron called Are You In? And what he was talking about was, and I promise that me and Jason did not talk about our talks before this at all, but it was talking about getting more involved in open source, getting more involved in community, learning how to contribute to open source projects and be parts of them, and specifically focusing on underrepresented groups and breaking down barriers to entry so that people will be able to get more involved and learn. But maybe folks that might be held back by going in, like being a little bit too nervous to go onto IRC and ask questions of folks, or go on Twitter and ask people. Like, what we wanted to do was make it so that there were people that could come in, learn more about Hapi, and actually join the group of committers and contributors to Hapi, and give them alternative routes. So one of the things that he actually made it my job to do was to create the Hapi.js mentor program, which is rad. What it is, it's a place for folks to learn about Hapi, learn about community, learn about contributing in open source, and also for folks to be able to help in, take ownership of, and lead and add their ideas to open source projects. So I was like sitting there listening to Jason's talk, and I was like, holy crap! And it like we do stuff kind of like Node School does. So like this is seriously the kind of stuff we're trying to focus on. Why? Because it's freaking important. Like that shouldn't even be a question. But it does set up, like there's someone, I threw a slide in here that I really wanted someone to see. Brian Brennan's not here today, but I know he loves sloths. And it's, it's giving folks the opportunity to lead visible open source projects, and also giving them the chance to grow personally and professionally is ridiculously important. And when there's a group that's focusing on making diversity a priority in helping folks achieve those goals, that's just what we should be doing, and that's what the Hapi.js mentor program is. We really just want to help people. Like Cassandra was saying earlier, we want to provide opportunities and resources for people to be able to achieve whatever goals they want when they're working with open source projects. So it's very simple right now, and it's it's been out for a couple of weeks now, and it's still constantly changing. But what you can expect as a mentor is to, wow. Sorry. Folks can, what you can expect as a mentor is the opportunity to be able to provide loads of encouragement and respect and help others to gain confidence in what they're doing as part of a group. If you're interested in becoming a mentor for the Hapi.js Mentor Program, don't worry if you don't know everything about Hapi. Like, we've got folks that are joining up that are like, I've never written a line of Node, or in some cases never written any code before. And they're just learning to code by using Node, and they're using Node by learning Hapi as part of learning how to code. There's loads of folks that need help with learning how to deploy and secure Node applications. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that if you want to contribute, you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you there. There's all kinds of skill levels, and there's all kinds of skill levels coming in as mentees, and so there's loads of places for loads of mentors to come in. Ultimately, like in some cases, it's just as simple as like helping folks, like guiding folks through using GitHub to find issues or learn how to do PRs. So it's really not much. Now, as a mentee, some of the things that you can expect to get are, once again, encouragement and personal attention, helping you contribute to open source community that's continually growing and has some big, pseudo-big modules, and learning how to contribute to those, fix bugs, add features, and get your ideas heard in this arena. Like some specific topics, like contributing to open source, being part of a community, the Hapi.js framework itself, and good strategies for splitting up really big libraries into a lot smaller modules. Also, we try to help folks with speaking opportunities and helping them to prepare talks, how to do stuff with CFPs and everything. So it's been going really, really well, and we've had a lot, like just in the past few weeks, we've had a lot of folks sign up for both sides, and it's been a lot of fun to introduce people. When your sole goal is to just help somebody, golly day, help somebody to achieve goals or to learn something new, then it really helps make your days a lot better and brighter. So bear in mind that it's very new, and we're still getting it coordinated, and most of that is by hand. Now, in doing all this, there's lots of people who've been involved in contributing to the mentor program. Some of them, so one of the drawings that I had to throw out, Raquel Velez, Rockbot, on Twitter, is one of the raddest human beings on this planet. And I had this picture of her as Samus from Metroid, but it looked a little bit goofy, and I was like, I can't do that to Raquel. That doesn't look right. But I will have it up eventually, I promise. But anyway, she was one of the big helps, and another person named Dana Sniesko were giant helps in helping us to get information for the code of conduct, which we felt was really important to have in place, so that people would know that there is a code of conduct, and that people will be able to handle violations of it. So that ultimately the goal, once again, is breaking down barriers, making people feel comfortable and confident. And so that plus the amount of time that we spend in it will help to go towards that. Now, let's see. Okay, in addition to Raquel, there's been loads of other people that I've been talking to about other portions of content that we should be providing from Hapi, and for just in general. Like, one of the things that I hadn't even considered before was breaking stuff into smaller modules, and Matthew Bergman was talking about that's one of the things that he would think is important to provide as part of the program. And actually last night I was talking with John Paul, and he was thinking that in addition to folks that are learning new things, like just starting out to code or just starting out learning Hapi, one of the other things that would be really good to learn is what about folks that are transitioning from development to management and want to keep up on development chops? It would be cool to have a list of issues for a little bit more involved and more technical issues in Hapi that folks could just jump in and say, hey, where can where can I jump in and apply some of these so I can maintain my technical chops while I'm transitioning to this other portion of my career. Now, ultimately, what I'd love for y'all to do is sign up on the Hapi.js website. There's descriptions and information about the entire mentor program, how you can sign up, and you can go there. Also, feel free to contact me directly, or any of the folks that are providing a training this afternoon. We're doing one of the trainings this afternoon is a Hapi.js training, and there's a lot of folks from the team that are here. We look forward to hearing feedback. I personally look forward to hearing feedback from you or ideas that you may have, whether or not you're participating in the mentor program. So even if you don't, take time to consider to offer help and opportunities to other people in the communities that you do work in. Giving back to others is what helps us make all of us better. And that's all I've got. Thanks, y'all.